if I had a daughter, I would say I would never be like, you know what, I'm happy for you. If she decided to date somebody like a Ray Rice or a Joe Mixon, somebody who thought it was okay to punch a girl in the face, I wouldn't. They wouldn't have my condolences. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm sure he's a changed man or whatever. That's just not how I am. I wouldn't support it.
So you picked the Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh man, we promised each other that we'd keep it on track today. And
I know, really. And boom, we are live. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to 2 and 6 Sports. I'm your host, Mike, joined again by our 49ers fan, Milton. We're going to be recapping the 49ers and Eagles game. As you know, 2 and 6 Sports, 2 guys, 6 beers, and sports. Basically, the whole theme, we drink an uncomfortable amount for the entirety of this podcast. And when we can't drink no more, that's when the podcast ends in a quick amount of time. All right, so let's see. 49ers and Eagles game. We're going to recap this shit. I'm gonna let you take the floor since you guys kicked our ass. You guys whooped us, so Milton, go ahead. Take the floor. 49ers Eagles game recap. What the fuck happened from a 49ers perspective?
Well, let's start off with, remember last week you said Jalen Hurts has never ever in his career lost like that when I said my prediction of 38-17. He never loses like that. Jalen's the man. He's alpha, the man. Well, I'm pretty sure while you were saying that statement, I said something along the lines of, there's a first for everything.
You did say that.
And there is a first for everything. And I think that proves the statement that I've been saying and everyone tells me to stop crying about. But that NFC Championship last year was a cakewalk. It was not deserved. And we proved it this past Sunday to show who the real alpha team is, where record doesn't matter sometimes because there are going to be situations where injuries, players do go down. Yes, it's about the resilience of the team and the next man up and how you perform in those situations. But again, it also comes down to these tough games, right? Who performs, when you're battling, head to head of the two top teams, who can show dominance and show who is the real dominant team. And I think that's what we did. We showed again this year why we are the best team in the NFL.
I'm going to push back on you a little bit for that. With you're siding here with Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. referenced this game delegitimized the Eagles' NFC Championship game last year. You know how many people on our defense we have starting from last year's game that were on the team last year?
You're going to go that route?
I'm just saying. It's a different team. I'm just saying it's a different team. It's not the same team.
What about the Kansas City Chiefs last year when they didn't have half their roster? Tyreek Hill, some of the key players on offense, key players on defense. That's not a good route to go.
Well, it's a different team, though. It's not the same team.
I know, but
would it have been a better game? 100%, absolutely. But to say it delegitimized the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl, we don't know.
Did you have Jalen Hurts last year?
We don't. Yeah, we had Jalen.
You had AJ Brown last year.
Oh yeah, we had most of our offensive pieces.
Okay, there we go.
But my point is this is where I want to leave it because I've had countless arguments. I'm sure as we both have online with the other fan base after this game, and what I'm willing to concede is you guys kicked our ass this year. This was the revenge game. This was part 2. You guys showed up with more energy. You were more physical. Brock Purdy, I'll tell you what, Brock Purdy, I think he does deserve more respect than he gets. I think I think some people will downplay his performance and say, well, he just dumped the ball off and all of those yards that Debo got were yak. And yes, that is true. Brock Purdy's air yards were not good, but that doesn't mean that Brock Purdy isn't good. Brock Purdy was playing like a Hall of Fame point guard in the NBA.
100%.
For example, to the Eagles fans out there, who want to say Brock Purdy just dumped the ball off and he still sucks. It doesn't prove anything. It's not true, because if you really think about it, if we were to put, like, say, Desmond Ridder, for example, the Falcons quarterback, in the and Kyle Shanahan's offense, running that 49ers team with those weapons, I don't think it looks anything like Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is running that system as good as anybody in the league could run that system. And that's including Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. I don't think Mahomes or Hurts could do as well in that 49er offense as Purdy is doing.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I've had debates about people, because everyone wants to take away from Purdy because of the weapons that we have. Whew. The one thing I want to throw out is the only people that we've traded for on our offense really is Trent Williams and CMC. Other than that, we drafted Debo, we drafted Kittle, we drafted Purdy, we drafted Ayuk. So this is kind of almost the same setup as the Golden State Warriors, where before the KD days, right, where they drafted all those players. It's not like they traded for a superstar team. And also, too, yes, even though he has all these superstars on the team, he still has to play against the best of the best people in the world on defense, thread the needle, be accurate, hit throw the ball in the right spot where only his receivers.
He knows where he's going with the ball.
And that's what pisses me off, is that people take that away from him because, oh, you got Debo, oh, you got Ayuk, oh, you got CMC. And, later on.
If you're going to say that argument, then you have to say, Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Edgerrin James and Reggie Wayne. You can't really use that argument.
Yeah, and I'll, when we get later on, right, when we talk about specifically the Niners, I have a couple, stats that I can't wait to go over that people probably don't realize. But the dude's slinging it. He's, what was it? That game, I don't think he had one attempt at throwing the ball over 15, 20 yards, but he still completed on average 11 12 yards per completion. He only had 19 completions for over 300 yards. Like, that's his 4 touchdowns. I believe it's his third or fourth time doing that this year.
So you know what it is, though? You know what I just thought about this? It's the same thing with, like, it's like beating the refs in a way. Because, like, the Eagles last year, when they were just beating all those shitty teams, people would say, all right, well, they're not beating anyone good. And until you beat somebody good, people are going to say this. So I think it's the same thing with Brock. Until he's slinging the ball downfield, like air yards, and all of these yards aren't coming after the catch, people are always going to continue to say this kind of stuff, whether it's true or not. Like, even if it's false, it's going to continue to happen. Even if he wins the Super Bowl this year, people are still going to say that.
I got the numbers. But, yeah, to also talk about what you said about the over 500 teams, what really gets me is you go through that wave where the season ends. Now it's the off season. Everyone's anticipating for the draft. And then preseason hits. And then everyone talks about how, they go over and they predict what the teams are going to perform each year based on the records of the teams last year. And then as the team starts performing the way that people predicted them to be, they're like, oh, nope, take it away from them because, we thought that these teams were going to be harder, but these teams aren't doing as good. But it's like, come on, can you just be satisfied with something?
Yeah, you can't go with you can't blame a team for who's on their schedule.
You can't.
You can only, like with the Cowboys. But I will say that works for the Cowboys. I mean, they've beaten the Giants twice. They beat the Panthers. Who else? They beat a 6-5 Seattle Seahawks team. That's their best win on the season. Like Dallas is blowing out good teams, and Dak is in the MVP conversation because of it. And he's lost to all the good teams he's played. I think that's total bullshit that Dak is even in the MVP conversation. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be in the conversation. As far as I'm concerned, is Brock and Jalen.
No, I would say honestly, Jalen isn't really having an MVP type of season.
His wins.
Again, wins are wins.
He's not going to have eye-popping stats. Jalen's that's how Jalen has a chance to win the MVP, but he has to win out. It can't be. It's not going to be through like stats, while other QBs could do it through stats.
Well, that's the thing. We all know that the MVP of the league is a quarterback award, and if you don't have the stats, how can you win? And me personally, I think this year the MVP is going to be a toss up between Brock Purdy or Tyreek Hill. And
no way.
I'm just saying this. If Tyreek Hill hits that or beats, was it Megatron? Was it? Yeah.
2000?
Yeah. If he beats his record or hits the 2,000 mark in receiving yards and he doesn't get the MVP,
it's a QB stat.
It's bullshit.
It's a QB reward.
It's bullshit.
He probably would deserve it if that was the case, but he won't. He's not even going to be in discussion for it, I don't think.
If he hits that milestone, he has my vote.
They'll give him Offensive Player of the Year. That's what
coming from a Niners fan. He 100% has my vote if he hits that 2K mark. Especially, I don't think that's ever been done, right? Because Calvin Johnson only had like 19 and change. So to hit that 2K mark,
wasn't Calvin Johnson something to watch?
He was.
I miss watching Calvin Johnson. That guy was like, to be that tall and that fast and that physical, all like together. That's crazy.
But now imagine if he got there with that height, right? How big he was, and then you have someone like Tyreek Hill, who's a whole lot shorter, a whole lot lighter than him, and to still put up more yards than that, deserves the MVP.
I'll tell you what. We really barely even talked about the game.
There wasn't much to talk about. It was an ass whooping.
It was an ass whooping.
It was
a total ass whooping. I'm going to go ahead and sum this up. I'm going to give you the 3 reasons why I think the Eagles lost. You give me the 3 reasons why you think the 49ers won, okay? I'm going to go ahead and start off with, excuse me. Now, I know this is going to sound like an excuse. That's why I'm getting it out of the way. It's the very first reason. I'm going to say injuries. Now, I know I should get backlash for saying this because it's an excuse, and it is an excuse. I'm not running from that. But what I am going to say is our injuries, both of our starting linebackers were hurt, didn't play in the game. Who gave up the most yards? Our linebackers. Our tackling was trash. Our run game was shit. Our linebackers played like trash, and Brock Purdy just kept throwing to the middle of the field over and over and over again, which leads me to my second reason why the Eagles lost that game. We were more injured. The 49ers were a healthier team. The second reason why we lost that is coaching. We got out-coached. The 49ers, Kyle Shanahan put together a fucking great game plan. He put together a great game plan. Sean Desai, our defensive coordinator, several players came out during the week and they didn't say his name or anything like that, but they questioned things about like the motion that you guys were putting us in. Like you guys had a lot of motion, and that fucked with us. That really fucked with the Eagles. So they weren't ready. They weren't prepared to play. So I'm going to say coaching. So missing our 2 middle linebackers, our coaching, and then number 3, I'm going to go with Brian Johnson, our offensive coordinator, refusing to run the ball. I don't understand. I don't get it. And our 2 losses to the Jets and now the 49ers, we haven't run the ball early. We're just not even trying. I don't get it. So I'm going to go ahead and that kind of goes with coaching as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say our offensive coordinator came into the game with a shitty game plan against your defense. We could have been up. We should have been up 14-0 against you guys in the first quarter, and that would have been a totally different game. But your defense stonewalled us in the red zone, held us to 6 points, a field goal both times, that changed the game.
100%.
But you guys like digging in and stopping the Eagles in the red zone both times in the first quarter and holding them to field goals, that changed the game. So Brian Johnson, shame on you. Sean Desai, shame on you. And then injuries, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? That's my reason from an Eagles fan. Excuses. Why'd you guys win the game?
I'm going to come back to what you said when we talk about the 49ers. It's going to be great. Why did we win the game? I think, as you said, we were healthy.
Jesus Christ.
Right? So we definitely came into this game healthy. I'm going to go with the 2 reasons is Kyle Shanahan and our defensive coordinator. Excellent.
Who is your defensive coordinator this year?
Stephen Wilkes? It is. more so the defensive side. And the reason being is, as we talked about in the last episode, I give Jalen Hurts the respect that he deserves, right? Because he is a good quarterback. He's good on his feet. But to draw up a game plan where, and even like Bosa and Chase Young even came out, their strategy last week wasn't to try to record the most sacks in the game, or wasn't try to just sack him.
Well, that's good because Bosa got stonewalled by Johnson.
100% not. If you look at the film, what is Jalen best known for?
Scrambling to his right.
Scrambling outside of the pocket, expanding out, rather, right? And what did we do the best? We kept him inside and exposed him, and that's why.
We had tons of time to throw the ball. He just, I to be honest with you, I didn't watch the all 22, so I don't know if he was missing open guys and just deciding to not throw the ball. But one thing that was glaringly obvious during that game was Jalen had all day to throw.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if you guys just drop people back into coverage.
That's
but there was no pass rush. I don't know if that was intentional, like you just said.
That's what the Niners are good at. Is we only rush 4. We're only rushing Bosa, Young, Armstead, Hargrave, right? And we're dropping everyone back, which, again, the whole game plan was for our defensive line to not allow Jalen to get on the outside to start using his legs. That's how he kills people, is he gets to the outside. If nobody's open, he's taking and he's getting 10, 15 yards every single time. And we contained that, dropped people in coverage, so he couldn't get on the outside, and he had no one to throw to because we had extra people in the backfield. And that's why, the Niners dominated.
Yep. All right. Well, I want to move the fuck on from this game because it's Thursday and we're still talking about last week's game. For Eagles fans, it's Cowboys week. We're still talking about the fucking 49ers game because that game stings. To be honest with you, we could have gone 1-16, and if we beat the 49ers, I would have been happy. I'm not even kidding with you. I fucking hate you guys. So like that loss, that hurt so bad. It was so hard to watch that game. I was in a fucking piss mood the whole time.
I made sure to respect that and not text you throughout the game because I don't like that with me, especially, you didn't do it to me last year when in the NFC Championship when Purdy went out and then, Josh Johnson came in, then he got hurt. You didn't message me. So I don't like texting people in the spur of the moment because, again, your emotions are high.
Yeah.
We're invested in the game.
Yeah.
And you and I, we have a certain level of respect for each other, so I wouldn't have done that to you.
Well, appreciated because I would have thrown my phone. I would have been like, fuck this.
I think I waited like an hour or two after the game to text you.
It was pretty quick. All right, let's move on to the jackass of the week. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this on. Go ahead. Jackass of the week. Who's your jackass?
So Sunday, head of security.
I forgot about this. I knew he was going in.
Your job is to protect the fucking players and protect the fucking coach from the fucking fans. I get it was a beatdown. You're emotionally involved in the game. You're a fan of the team that you're working for. But to put your hands on a player, I give all due respect to Dre Greenlaw because me personally, I probably would have punched him in the mouth. He should never put his hands on Dre. He should never gotten involved. Do I agree with the hit that Dre had on Devontae Smith? Questionable, but Devontae Smith was still in bounds. Dre Greenlaw is going to be the guy that's going to be the physical player. If the Niners have a physical game, it starts with Dre Greenlaw laying a big hit on somebody, getting everyone else fired up, and then they follow suit. So my jackass of the week is Big Dom. Go fuck yourself. Hope you get fired, bitch.
So we're gonna hold on. We're gonna analyze this really quick. Give me a second.
Watching the video.
All right. So let's watch this again. Let's really break this down and analyze this because, from my perspective, I feel you're being very.
In bounds, in the rhythm of motion.
No, I'm with you there.
Big Dom, what are you doing putting your hands on him?
We're gonna agree in there. Devontae Smith was in bounds. Any Eagles fans saying that he was out of bounds, that's bullshit.
Like I said, it's questionable. I'm saying that the hit is questionable. It could go either way. But what is he doing putting his hand on him right now?
So listen, from my perspective, from an Eagles fan perspective here, for what I see happening going on right now is Greenlaw would not get. So I'm not. And listen, I'm not saying Dom was right, the head of security. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying from my perspective as an Eagles fan, I see a 49er player body slam my guy after the whistle and then continue to get into his face on the sideline after he body slammed him. So let's see right here. So we got the body slam. He's down. He's still in there. He's still talking trash, and Dom is just trying to get him away.
Devontae Smith is in his face, but again, that's the ref's job. The ref's job is
I'm not
split that
agreeing
up.
with what I'm not saying what Dom did was right, but let's watch here.
Ready? He gets up. Let's see who gets in his look. Devontae Smith is as Greenlaw's getting up is in his face. And right there, Dom, what are you doing putting your hands on him? Go fuck yourself.
He shouldn't be putting his hands on him.
Because he's not a fan.
It should have stopped once they were separated.
Yes, and the refs were doing a great job at doing that.
So right here, still, you don't need to be touching them right there still. Like I'll agree. Dom should not have done that right there. But like the way this starts right here, it doesn't show it. So where is it? Is it right here? So when this starts, I think the intentions are okay. I think it's, get away from my guy. But right there, that extra little shove shouldn't have happened.
But here's my thing is the ref was already there to split them up. What is Dom doing there to try to split them up for? From last time I checked, Dre Greenlaw has a uniform on and a helmet on, and he's not a fan, right? He should have never been there. His ass should have been 15 feet back watching the fans. If anything, you're putting your team at risk because at that point, somebody could have fucking jumped the stands and could have done something stupid.
That's very true. I didn't consider that. That's a very good thought.
Fuck you for not doing your job. And me personally, I wish Dre Greenlaw gave him a nice fucking fucking hook.
I just love watching that video. All right, so we went a little overtime with Jackass of the Week, so I'm going to be real quick with mine. Not that it deserves a lot of attention. My Jackass of the Week is Nicholas Morrow. Nicholas Morrow. I believe he's rated number 16 on Pro Football Focus. Is that what it's called? Pro Football Focus? Yeah. PFF. I believe he's rated 16 out of like 70 linebackers in the league. They have a tremendous rating on him. It's a bullshit rating. It's bullshit. Like, the guy sucks. Nicholas Morrow is terrible. He was a linebacker for the worst defense in the league last year with the Chicago Bears. Let's see what he did. 8 targets. So, and this is what I was talking about at the beginning with how we got out-coached. Kyle Shanahan targeted the middle of the field, and he targeted the short passes and whatnot. He knows that our cornerbacks are allergic to tackling. He's very much aware of that. And I'll tell you guys right now, the 49ers secondary, 10 times more physical than the Philadelphia secondary. Probably more than that. The Philadelphia corners don't want to tackle. And I'll tell you what, Kyle Shanahan saw that, and he knew that we were down Zach Cunningham, our other starting linebacker, with Nakobe Dean. So 2 backups, to be fair, just saying, not that every team doesn't deal with their own injuries. But Kyle Shanahan saw that weak spot, and he attacked it. And Jackass of the Week, Nicholas Morrow, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's insane. That's insane to give that up as a linebacker. Not a corner, not someone guarding a number 1 receiver. A linebacker gave that up. So I couldn't imagine giving my Jackass of the Week to anybody else besides Nicholas Morrow. All right, so Jackass of the Week, we got that covered. Let's go. Let's see. So Eagles, I'm on a roll here. Let's go. Boom. Eagles, this week we got the Cowboys coming up. As Milton referenced last week's episode of the podcast, if the Eagles lose this game, the 49ers are going to take the number 1 seed.
And where do you guys fall to?
We would fall to the number 5 seed.
Where you belong.
Let me tell you right now why that's not going to happen. Because the Cowboys are not the 49ers. A lot of foam. Burping up a lot of foam. So
maybe not offensively. Defensively, yes.
You guys defense is way better than the Cowboys' defense. The only thing the Cowboys have is Micah Parsons. When Deron Bland is targeted, more than 8 times a game. He's one of the worst cornerbacks in the league. Deron Bland is like a modern day Asante Samuel, where it's all risk in this. It's high risk and high reward. Like he's what does he have 4 pick sixes this year? It's insane.
I think he has a little bit more.
It's
than
nuts.
That.
Like Deron Bland's numbers are inflated because he takes chances.
I think he has 6 of them.
He's got a lot of pick sixes. He's a playmaker. I'm not denying that, but AJ Brown is gonna feast on this Cowboys secondary. He's gonna feast, and Micah Parsons, he's not. The way that if you watched ESPN, you would think Micah Parsons is a first ballot Hall of Famer already. He's not.
Just what is this? His second year?
Yeah, third year.
He's going to be 100%. He's going to.
You know what? I agree with you because he's a Cowboy. If he were on the Cleveland Browns, I don't think so. Myles Garrett should get 10 times the amount of coverage that Micah Parsons get, and he doesn't because Micah Parsons is a Cowboy. He disappears for full stretches of games. For full stretches during the season, he'll disappear 2-3 games at a time, and then he'll show up and have a big game.
But in all fairness, it's everybody. Nick Bosa's done it. He was MIA the first couple weeks of the year. I don't think he recorded his first sack until like the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
Wasn't he hurt? Wasn't he dealing with an injury?
No.
I thought no, he was contract stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
It's contract stuff.
He played week 1, but I don't think he recorded his first sack until like week 4, week 5.
Jesus.
So again, it happens, but he's definitely a future Hall of Fame.
I'm not saying it's not I agree with you. I think he's definitely
but it has nothing to do with the Cowboys. It has more to do about his like last year, the defensive player of the year. It could have gone either way. If it went to Micah, Bosa won last year. But if it went to Parsons, I wouldn't have been mad at that because Parsons is a fucking animal. You can't deny that. It doesn't matter what team he's on.
He's a great player. He's physically gifted. I just think he doesn't try every
You
down.
put Parsons on any other defense, he makes that defense better.
Oh yeah, I agree. I wouldn't deny that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I would take Nick Bosa 10 times out of 10 over Micah Parsons if I'm given the choice to start a team. I'm not taking Micah Parsons.
Depends on what your game plan is, right? Nick Bosa is always just going to be a pass rush guy. Micah Parsons?
Run right at him. That's our game plan every time. Run right at him.
Micah Parsons can also drop back in coverage. And he has that ability to rush. So, again, he has that double threat option.
He came into the league doing that, and then they realized, oh, my God, we have a pass rusher.
And you can't really compare him because he's a linebacker, an outside linebacker who has the same ability to rush the quarterback like any other good defensive end out in the league.
That's what he mostly does now because the Cowboys, smartly found what he does well and continued to. All right, this is my point, though, is I think Micah Parsons is going to disappear for this game. I don't think he's going to be non-existent. Maybe he'll have like 4 or 5 tackles. That's the extent of Micah Parsons' game. I think the Eagles are going to go in there and they're going to come out with I think it's going to be a noticeable difference the way the Eagles play energy-wise against the Cowboys than they did the 49ers. I think, excuse me, woo. I think this week after the 49ers game and the way that we played that game, I don't think that they walked in there and the Eagles thought that they were going to win that game without trying, but I don't think their heads were in the right place. I don't think that maybe it was a crazy Bills game in the week before, or maybe it was like that 3-game stretch where it went Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, and they were all really close games. And I don't know what it was, but the Eagles didn't play their best game against the 49ers. Like, yes, we didn't have Dallas Goedert. Yes, we didn't have our 2 starting linebackers, but it's not an excuse for the energy that we came out with. Like, the 49ers came out and were physical right off the bat, and the Eagles weren't.
That's every game, the Niners.
It really is. It is. I watch the 49ers every week. Not every week, but I've watched parts of their game every week, and they're always going 110.
It's all right. We have a secret fan watching the Niners game every week. I thought you hate us.
I do hate you guys.
We got
and
a fan.
That's why
we got us a
free in my head.
We got us a secret. We got us a fan. But just before I touch base on the Niners.
Whoa!
Oh, hold on.
You lost it. There you go.
There we go. Just before I touch base on the Niners, I want to kind of continue on what you said about, you're going to win this week. And here's the reason why you're not going to win this week.
Whoa!
Is, right, both the Eagles and the Cowboys both have this game means a lot, right? This changes a lot. The Cowboys go from, I believe it's going to go from the 5th and either the 2nd or 3rd, depending on that tiebreaker with the Lions. The Eagles are going to go from 1st to 5th place. And with the ass whooping that you guys received last week, you know what you guys are that the Cowboys aren't entering this game?
Desperate?
Emotional. You guys are coming to this game because now you guys want to prove a point. You guys are emotionally involved, invested in
Sounds
this game.
like what I said last week about you guys.
And I told you again.
Did it work though, didn't it?
We are.
You guys came into the game talking trash, emotional.
But
and you kicked our ass.
Again, that emotion was solely based off of the shit talking that happened from last year with the boo-hoos. Oh, cry because you lost your quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And then you just gave that as an excuse of why you lost the game. But it's okay. I accept it. I don't ever want to hear that not having a quarterback in an NFC championship game is an excuse. Because you just used linebackers not being involved. And I'll be honest, even if your linebackers were healthy, I don't think you guys win that game. I think the game still resulted in the same.
I agree. I don't think we win that game either way. I think if we come in there with Dallas Goedert, with both of our starting linebackers, I don't think we win that game either.
Because
I think we lose that game.
Who's your key pass rusher? Hassan who? Reddick? Yeah.
He played well.
Did he?
Hassan Reddick played.
Let me just throw this out there.
He did. You guys got the ball out so quick. Brock Purdy was on fire.
Brock Purdy, when he was blitzed by the Eagles on Sunday, 10 for 10, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns with the perfect 158.3 passer rating.
He knew where to go with the ball. There's nothing you can do. If you're a pass rusher and he's getting rid of the ball in under 2 seconds, you're shit out of luck.
That's an average of about 20 yards per completion against the blitz. Now, for those who are haters against Brock Purdy and, he's not MVP, fuck you, because Brock Purdy now has 4 games this season with 3+ touchdowns and a passer rating 140+. That ties Tom Brady in 2007 and Aaron Rodgers in 2011 for the most of those games in a season. And in 2007 and 2011, do you know who won MVP that year?
The quarterbacks who had those stats?
Correct. And now to add to that, right, because everyone's like, but he has Debo and he has Ayuk and he has Kittle, the Yak brothers.
You won't hear that from me, though. You won't hear the talent that he has from me.
No, I get that.
Jalen's got AJ.
But for those who's using that as a fucking excuse, bullshit, because, again, 2020 when Aaron Rodgers won the MVP, 52% of his yards that he threw came from yards after catch. 2021, Aaron Rodgers, 52.7. 2022, 54% of Mahomes' yards came after catch. Right now, Brock Purdy is only at 48% of his yards are coming from yards after the catch. So, what are we bitching about?
That's a good stat.
What are we saying here?
I would like to know that stat specifically for the Eagles game, though. Specifically for that game, I would like to know it because on the season, it's a phenomenal stat. Like I didn't come prepared like that. I can't even defend against it because, like, if anyone's saying, "Oh, Brock Purdy's not throwing air yards and he's just dumping it off," you can't argue with that stat.
Yeah.
So
again, the only person that's comparable with his numbers, he may not have the yardage. He's leading the NFL in yardage, but that's okay. It's all right. If he's top 5 in yardage and he's throwing and he has a 20-4 ratio, what's his ratio? I believe he has 23 touchdowns and only 6 picks.
That's
and he
good.
continues that ratio and he has that rating. I believe right now it's at 116 average rating for this entire season. So again, I'm just tired of people, trying to find excuses because their quarterback sucks or their team sucks and they just want to rain and piss on everyone's parade. Stop being a fucking hater. Your team sucks. It is what it is, all right? I can't help it that you have a good quarterback, but your system sucks and now he sucks. It is what it is, right? That's really more of what I have to say about the 49ers is provide those stats to the people that just want to say, he has the Yak brother. Yeah, fuck you.
Let me ask you this. What fan base outside of the Eagles gives you the most shit?
There's
gotta
so
be one,
it depends.
Right?
Like if
Probably Cowboy fans, right?
Not really, because there's nothing they can talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What
they
are
they don't
what are
got
we
shit.
4-0 against them in the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, they've been begging to be relevant for 25
years. It is what it
years.
is. Online, it's the Seahawks. In person,
Online, it's the Seahawks. Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I get a lot of them fuckers jumping on like Facebook pages, just be like, "Oh, Hawks, man!"
What
Like,
do they even have to say? They haven't done shit
yeah,
since
they
Russ.
just talk about the years where the Legion of Boom was here with Sherman and Russell Wilson and all those guys, Cam Chancellor. You guys live in the past. Like, get over
that
it.
was when the NFC West was strong, though.
Yeah.
because you guys were good back then. You had Alex Smith and Cap. And then,
Yeah, it was primarily the Legion of Boom was more of Kaepernick because he had taken over, and that's when the 12th man kind of was popularized with all those, Cam Chancellor and all them. But yeah, that's in
they ran the
person.
ball
I
in
definitely
that
get a
Super
lot of
Bowl
shit
against Brady.
from the Patriots fans. That's why I don't feel bad that you guys are fucking piss poor
oh,
and
fuck
you
Patriots
suck.
fans. Fuck them.
Because
I don't feel bad for them
when
one
Tom
bit.
Brady was here and you guys were winning Super Bowls, you guys acted like you guys were fucking gods.
They won every Super Bowl by 3 points, by a field goal.
And it's like, I think Alex Smith said it the best. I think you guys, with Tom Brady in that division, you guys had the absolute easiest.
It was a cakewalk all the way through every year.
Because every year
What was the best team that they ever had to play? Was it the Mark Sanchez led Jets?
Not even ass.
Like that
ass.
was the best.
I think it was the Josh Allen teams when Brady was there. Like
Yeah,
that,
but
that
then when
was
Josh Allen came, Brady wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that was their only competition, and even then, you got Sean McDermott and Josh Allen who fucking choke in playoffs every year. So it's like, all right, you didn't have to face them. So you still.
I wouldn't say every year. That year that they lost to KC in KC, it was like, remember that game? It was like 38-35. It was insane. You remember that?
I'm talking about like majority of Brady's years were cakewalk. Towards the end of his Patriots career, when he transferred and he moved to the Bucs, that's when it started becoming a little bit more competitive, which I'll agree with that. But in person, it's the Patriots fans that like to talk the most shit, where it's like, oh, we watched 6 Super Bowl rings. What have you watched?
bastards.
And it's like, all right, go fuck yourself. You're living in the past. Because if that's the case, I should just live in the 90s, right? And talk about how we won all these Super Bowls in the 90s. No, I don't, because the past is the past. Get over it.
All right, so let's see. Let's go on to fantasy. Let me start this. Resume, boom. All right, so let's go on to fantasy. This week in our work league that we are in together.
I'm eliminated.
Oh, you're eliminated?
I'm eliminated. I'm done. I'm just, honestly, at this point, I think I'm going to be a dick and just drop
KC.
everyone off my team. I'm just going to drop them all.
Oh, you are done. Yeah.
I'm
you
done.
Can't. Well, no, because you can win the.
You want me to play for fucking 4th place, 5th place? No.
Well, no. The
I don't win no money.
You could win the loser bracket.
I don't care about that. The fuck? You want me to compete to be a loser? No, I'm done.
I know, it's so tough, dude. That's what's so tough about fantasy, because the season's still in, like, it's going strong, and then we're already in fantasy playoffs though. So next week is fantasy.
No, well,
first week of
one of my
fantasy
leagues, I'm already in playoffs. I have I believe I ended the season 12-1.
He's gonna drop all his players.
Yeah, one league I'm already in playoffs. I'm 12-1. I only lost that one game because of fuck you Cowboys for fucking me. It was that game against the Chargers where the final play of the game resulted in a sack on Herbert and then picked him off, which gave him 3 points, which made me lose by .72.
That's
I
hard.
could have had a perfect 13-0 season.
That's hard.
But I lost. But I did. But yeah. But yeah, our work league, I'm done. Honestly, you know what really fucked me was that trade. I hope you lose. Honestly,
I'm. You know what I did? I'm playing Wes. The worst part about this is I'm playing Wes. You know who Wes's quarterback is? Jalen Hurts. So I have to root against Jalen Hurts to make it. If I lose, I'm out of the fantasy playoffs. I'm the fucking commish. I'm the commissioner of our league. I won last year. I fucking beat everybody in this office. And this year I'm on the fringe.
I can't wait because I swear to God, if you lose, I don't care. It's fantasy's fantasy. I will blow up your text.
I'm projected
text
to lose
messages.
right now. I'm telling you right now, I need a fucking miracle to win. I need 2 touchdowns out of Gus Edwards.
All right,
That's what I
let's
need.
take a look at your matchup since I'm already out. So who cares about my fucking matchup? But let's look at yours.
Yep. Get Hurts
You
against
have
Herbert.
Herbert against Denver. Denver just lost this past week, right?
They did, but Denver's got a good. Despite I know it sounds crazy, but despite giving up 70 points in a game, Denver's defense isn't awful. You know, they held the Chiefs to like 16 points or some shit like that.
Yeah,
they have Patrick Surtain.
You're fucked. 100%.
I don't feel good about it. I mean, I need honestly right now. Gus Edwards is he's my white whale, or he's my X factor. Gus Edwards right now, I think he's projected at like 9 points. Yeah. If he can come through with a 20-point performance, score 2 touchdowns, I got a good shot. But if Gus Edwards does not come through for me, the Ravens running back,
the Ravens' game plan is, it seems like Lamar Jackson they're giving him more of the reign, and they're designing plays to put him in position to actually throw the ball and not put his body on the line. Because that was the issue a few years ago, was he was constantly getting hurt because the offensive scheme that they were drawing up for him, nobody was getting open, so it resulted in him needing to go out there, get the yards himself. This year, they're drawing up where he's throwing the ball a lot more and actually giving it to his running backs to be able to do it. Ooh. So I can see Gus Edwards having a good game for you this week. But my concern for you is Justin Herbert. He just struggled against the Patriots. Only put up, 6 fucking points?
He did. But you know what? As big of a joke as the Patriots are, Bill Belichick is still Bill Belichick. He can still scheme a defense. And they have some defensive talent. They have Matthew Judon. They have some players on that defensive line. Wise, I think. Dietrich Wise. What the fuck's his name?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to nobody on that team.
The Patriots have some players on their D line, and they also have they just traded that cornerback that they let go or in free agency, right? The J.C. Jackson.
Yes.
They got him back in a trade, which is fucking weird.
It is weird.
Weird.
I think they do that shit on purpose. They trade people, get capital. That player sucks. They get traded back.
Well, I think they just didn't re-sign him, and then he signed with, I think, the Chargers, and then they just traded for him or some shit. That was really weird. I don't know what the fuck just happened there. But
you're fucked because you got Metcalf. The last time he played the Niners, he only dropped 6 points.
Who's playing the Niners?
Metcalf.
Oh, DK Metcalf is playing the 49ers, and I have him in my starting line. Well, because I fucking sat him last week against the Cowboys, and he scored like 35 points, and I lost. I would have... DK, literally, I had him on my bench last week, and he would have won me the fucking game. I lost by like 0.5 points last week in one of my leagues, and I sat DK in both of them. That fucking pissed me off.
Me personally, if you have Christian Watson, if he is healthy, I would put him in over Deontay Johnson.
I don't think he's healthy. He hurt his hamstring, and he came out of the game last week.
Did he? Yeah. Me personally, if he's healthy and he's good to go, I would put him in over Deontay Johnson. But other than that, looking at this game, you're
Wes
fucked.
has me. Yeah, Wes has me. He's got me. I need to pray that Wes's lineup shits the bed except for Hurts. I need Hurts to do well against Dallas.
Tyreek Hill against Tennessee. Did you not see what he just did against the Commanders?
I saw. It's not good. It's not good.
Mike Evans against Atlanta, dropping points.
Atlanta's defense is not bad. I'm telling you, man. Atlanta, they're going to make the playoffs #1 because they're going to win that NFC South.
The Bucks are.
You think the Bucks are going to win over the... All right, hold on. So... That actually is going into our pick because the Bucs are playing the Falcons this week.
Welcome to the loser bracket, baby.
Let's move right into the picks right now. So we're gonna move into these picks. We are let's see how fucking long into this bitch are we? We're 44 minutes in, so let's fly through these picks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've come to the conclusion that I'm probably fucked in fantasy, and if you guys see me back next week, smile. It's because I somehow, via miracle, pulled off a win versus Wes. So tonight we got the Patriots going up against the Steelers. Who you got?
Patriots. I don't trust Mitch Trubisky. He's ass.
So you got the Patriots. Let's see, Patriots against the Mitchell Trubisky led Steelers. Who's quarterback in that game? Zappy? Or is it?
I think so, yeah. Honestly, whoever's throwing the ball for the Patriots.
Wow. Yeah, dude, what a shit fucking game. Who the fuck's going home on a Thursday night and watching the Steelers, the Mitchell Trubisky-led Steelers versus the
Mac Jones, Bailey Zapp.
yeah. Dude, who's watching that fucking game?
Honestly, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take the Steelers just because I forgot that Ramondre Stevenson is probably going to miss this game. So that takes away a big aspect of the Patriots offense. So
I think the Patriots are going for a draft pick.
100%.
I don't think they want to win this game.
I think they're going for a draft pick and I think they want to get rid of Bill.
Yep. So we're both taking the Steelers?
Yes, I'm changing. I'm changing. I'm going Steelers.
All right. So Milton's taking the Steelers. By the way, for everyone who does not know, Milton, we had 13 games that we picked last week. Milton picked 10 of them correctly. So he was 10 for 13. I was not as lucky. I went 7 for 13. So that was pretty bad on my part. All right, so we both got the Steelers versus the Pats. Next, we got the Texans versus the Jets.
Hands down, Texans. I don't care that.
We don't even need to talk about this game.
Yeah.
I got the Texans as
Hands
well.
down.
So we got the Rams versus the Ravens. You know who's getting hot right now? Sean McVay and the Rams. They're hot.
Do you know who?
They're hot.
Pretty sure the stat is like either 17-1 or 18-1 now against the NFC. Maybe it's less than that. Lamar Jackson has only lost one game against the NFC West. I'm taking the Ravens.
He's taking the Ravens. All right. In Baltimore. What did the Rams do last week?
Good, but also Nakua's out. I'm pretty sure there's a good chance he's not playing this week.
I'm taking the Rams.
Are you?
I am taking the Rams. They're on a hot streak. They're on fire right now. They've won their last few games. They've been scoring 30-plus points a game. I'm going to take the Rams. So you take the Ravens. I'm going to take the Rams. I also got to catch up to you somehow, too. So I got to pick some of these games you're not picking. So we got the Panthers versus the Saints.
Jameis Winston's the fucking quarterback. I'm taking the Saints on this one at home. 100. Yeah, Saints.
Jameis Winston.
I just don't trust Bryce Young.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints as well, just because, as we talked about last week, the Panthers fired Frank Reich. I think the players were not on board with that move. And, yeah, I don't think the Panthers have shit to play for. I don't think they even
It's affecting their play. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So next we're up, we got the Colts at the Bengals.
With how surprising that game was Monday
Bengals
night.
Played well. The Bengals played really fucking well.
Or did the Jaguars play that bad?
When did Trevor Lawrence get hurt?
Like the last 4 minutes of the fucking game.
So irrelevant.
I'm taking the Colts. Better defense. Not as good as offense, but better defense. Minshew magic. I believe in. Yeah, I'm taking the Colts in this one.
I'm going to go with the Bengals. Here. Logic behind this pick is I think Joe Mixon, he's running with a firecracker up his ass, as he should be, because, you know, if you're the type of individual who likes to follow women into restaurants and then sucker punch them in the face like Joe Mixon did in college, you know, I think that you have something to play for when you're in the league, because you know in the back of your mind, you don't fucking deserve this. That's right, Joe Mixon. You don't deserve to be in the league. You shouldn't have gotten drafted. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit, Joe Mixon. I hope with every fiber of my being that you see this and you see me calling you a piece of shit and you have that realization that there's not shit you can do about it, and it keeps you up at least one night. One night, I want to live rent-free in your mind one night, knowing this little skinny white kid grew up in suburbia is calling you a piece of shit, because that's what you are. You have no morals. You're a piece of shit, Joe Mixon. I'm taking the Bengals, though, because I think Joe Mixon's going to play really well in this game.
So just out of curiosity, what's your thoughts on Michael Vick then, Philly fan?
I like Michael Vick.
Yeah?
I think Michael Vick
Dog abuse, you like that?
Michael Vick actually paid for his crimes. He went to jail. He was reprimanded. He paid for his crimes. Joe Mixon, a guy who followed a woman into a restaurant who was clearly trying to get away from him. She's clearly trying to get away from him. I don't care what was said. She's trying to get away from him. He follows her in there. and they have an altercation at the table that they're at or whatever it is. She might have called him the N-word. I don't care. I don't care what she called him. She might have put her hands on him after he said something. I don't care. I don't care. As an athlete, as somebody who has who is a physical specimen of a physical body, who's strong, it's your responsibility as a man to walk away from that situation, not continue to push it and push it and push it and push it. And when he knocked that chick out in college and he punched her in the face, as far as I'm concerned, that guy can spend the rest of his life in jail. I think he's a piece of shit. I don't care what he contributes to society from this point on. I think Joe Mixon's a fucking coward, and I root for his downfall every single play.
And you don't think that Michael Vick deserves the same treatment for,
Michael Vick paid for it. He paid for his crimes.
Taking advantage of dogs that can't defend themselves like that?
Being somebody... So a little background on me really quick. I don't want to make this too long. Is I want to open an animal shelter when I retire. I want to retire from work and making videos and stuff, and I want to open an animal shelter for dogs and cats to be able to stay at a foster home until they find a more permanent location. So I'm someone who animals have a very deep place in my heart. I would rather donate to an animal shelter than I would to a human shelter. I care more about animals. That being said, what Michael Vick did is disgusting. It's incredibly disgusting. But I think I believe in second chances, and that I think somebody can royally fuck up. Listen, I think that somebody can royally fuck up, and if they're truly sorry, if they mean it, if they understand what they did was wrong and they would never do it again, then I'm willing to forgive them. But if it's somebody who's only just saying that, just saying an apology, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just going through the motions and they don't believe it and they don't really mean it, then I'm lost. That being said, I think Michael Vick is sorry. I don't think Michael Vick, given the chance, would redo the things that he did.
You don't think Joe Mixon would?
No, he didn't pay for it. He didn't do shit. Joe Mixon didn't go to jail. Joe Mixon faced no consequences for knocking a woman out in a public setting on camera because he's a football player. That's the only reason. If anyone else did that, if Joe Mixon was a regular guy, what do you think would have happened to him?
I think there was a story behind that, and that's why he didn't get any charges.
Well, what could the story possibly be?
Anything.
I don't care if she called him the N-word. I don't care. He could have walked away from the situation. She was clearly distraught. She was clearly bothered by something he did or said, and he decided to follow her. And being a man, I think this is an interesting conversation we're having on 2 and 6 Sports. But I think being a man comes with certain responsibilities because we have more physical power. So I think if you're in some sort of situation where you see that you're in an altercation with a woman, I think it's your responsibility as a man to walk away from that situation if you think it could get heated. I don't think that punching her in the face and knocking her out in a public setting, I don't care if she pushed you. She pushed him. Oh, my God, boo-hoo. So he punched her in the face. I've been pushed by girls before. If I decided to swing on them, I would have gotten thrown in jail or some shit. He was a football star. If he would have been a first-round pick coming out of college, if that didn't happen. Is that how he paid for it? Going from a first-round pick to a third? Oh, you've been rehabilitated, Joe Mixon. I don't.
Maybe, but again, think about Ray Rice, Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt.
Ray Rice is doing incredible things right now.
No, I know.
And what he did was despicable. That was disgusting. Like it goes for the same way. Like
there's this,
I'm not judge, jury, and executioner. I'm not God or whatever. I can't decide what punishments are. So that's out of my hands. If I had a daughter, I would say I would never be like, you know what, I'm happy for you. If she decided to date somebody like a Ray Rice or a Joe Mixon, somebody who thought it was okay to punch a girl in the face, they wouldn't have my condolences. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm sure he's a changed man or whatever. That's just not how I am. I wouldn't support it.
So you picked the Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh man, we promised each other that we would keep it on track today. And
I know, really. I did pick the
Boom.
Bengals too. I said Joe Mixon's gonna have a great game too.
All right.
So we got the we got the Bucks and we got the Falcons.
We want to keep this in 45 minutes. An hour later, I'm taking the Bucks.
I know. I'm gonna take the Falcons. You get the Bucks. I get the Falcons. I think Bijan's playing really well.
Didn't play well last week.
Didn't he? What?
Part reason why I'm eliminated from playoff contentions in a fucking league.
You have Bijan?
Yup.
Did you take him with your first pick?
Yup. Fucked me hard.
See, you know what the funny thing is I would have taken Bijan with my first pick if I had the opportunity to.
I wanted CMC,
So you saved me.
but fucking Steven took him from me. I thought he was going to fall to me in like the 7th fucking pick, but...
No.
All right. Jaguars and Browns? The Browns.
Yeah, no Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence with
CJ
a fucked up
Beathard.
ankle.
I think Kristen Kirk is also hurt, I believe, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is out. Christian Kirk's out. He's on my fantasy team.
This is going to be another shitty game and low scoring. It's going to be a defensive game, and I trust the Browns defense more than the Jaguars defense.
I mean, the Browns still have a playoff spot, so I think there's
They're 7-5.
collectively that team has a reason to continue to fight. So yeah, we're both going with the Browns there. And then we get the Lions at the Bears.
Upset alert. Taking the Bears.
The Bear. Wow.
The Bears.
That is an upset. That is an upset. You mind diving into that a little bit, or
Well, think about it. Last time they faced off, it was a pretty close game towards the end. The Lions were actually trailing and came back and won the game. I think this is the end of the season. Even though the Bears, I don't think the Bears have a shot of making the playoffs. But this is more so of this is the year the Bears have the Panthers first round pick, and then they have a couple first round picks. So the last couple games of the year is going to be Justin Fields showing why he deserves to stay here, and if he doesn't, he's gone. So this is, this is hustle time for Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is showing, why he deserves to stay here. He can sling the ball. He can. This is the first year that I said that he's had a true wide receiver one, DJ Moore.
I never doubted Justin Fields' ability to throw the ball. I doubt his ability to process the information that's happening on the field real time.
But think about it. This is what, his third year?
Yep.
His first 2 years, the guy's offensive line was trash. Like, he's been hurt because he can't get protected. He has no one to throw it to. How are you supposed to process when you have 3 seconds to throw the ball? None of your reads are open. What are you supposed to do? And honestly, the year that which was 2 years ago, when we drafted Trey Lance, I didn't want Trey Lance. I wanted Justin Fields.
Man, did that work out well for you? Because you got Brock Purdy now. It was better than Justin Fields ever would have been on your team.
We gave all of that draft capital for Brock Purdy.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Technically, for Trey Lance, we got Brock Purdy out of that draft, so we did it for Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, you can call it that because it worked out that way. If you had known it was going to work out like this, you'd do that.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that, which leads us into our next game, Seahawks versus 49ers. I know we're going way over time, so we're going to try and go through these really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and say Seahawks.
Don't be a fucking hater.
I'm not being a hater.
You're not a believer yet?
I'm not a hater. See, what I think is the 49ers cared so much about beating the Eagles. Now, obviously, this could be some sort of bias I'm not seeing, but I feel like I'm picking this objectively. I think after watching how the Seahawks played against the Cowboys, and yes, they lost, I think that the 49ers won their Super Bowl last week.
No. you guys were just added to a stat that we have this year of we're 9-0 when we're completely healthy and we're dominating the teams by double digits.
Well, I got the Seahawks, so I'm assuming you're going to take the 49ers in this game. So, well, I mean, regardless, I got to pick some different teams here.
23 points last week
to get ahead of you.
How many? How much? 23 points. We won by.
I wasn't a lot. So let's
23. That's 3 touchdowns. 42-19.
I don't even know what I was going to say.
Can't say
I'm
much.
a little drunk. All right, we're just gonna move on here. So I got the Seahawks. You got the 49ers. I feel like that's gonna be a game.
No, it's not.
Regardless of who wins, I think it's gonna be a good game.
No, it's gonna be an ass whooping again.
You think they'll kill him? 40, give me a prediction since you think they'll kill him.
Let's see. Last time We're winning by double digits when we're fully healthy. We're 9-0. This is going to be 10-0 double digits. This is going to be a 31 to 10 game.
Sheesh. All right. Wow. All right. So next up, we got the Vikings at the Raiders. I'm going to go ahead and say I got the Vikings. I believe in Josh Dobbs.
I'm going to take the Raiders on this one.
Wow, this is going to be a huge disparity in our picks next time we're on this because we were picking all different teams, unlike last time. All right. So let's see. Next up, we got Broncos at the Chargers. Ooh. So, all right. While I think in my head the Broncos could win this game and they're going to make it a game, because it's so weird. It's so weird that the Broncos gave up 70 points and they're playing as well as they are now. But I'm going to go ahead and still take the Chargers because I believe I think Justin Herbert's a good quarterback despite his terrible coaching. I think that coach sucks. What the fuck's that guy's name? He was the defensive coordinator of the Rams back in the day. Yeah, John Staley.
I don't fucking know his first name.
He was the defensive coordinator of the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl, and he's a shitty head coach. He's fucking terrible. So,
absolutely.
I'll take the Chargers either way because
of
I
that
believe in Justin
reason,
Herbert.
let Russ cook. Even though I don't like him, I'm taking, and I have more trust and belief in Sean Payton in the Broncos over the Chargers.
We are literally all picking different games this week. So let's see. I got the Chargers. You got the Broncos. Next up, we got the Bills at the Chiefs. What a game that'll be. I'll tell you what, that'll be a good game.
Mm-mm.
You don't think that'll be a good game?
Nope.
Who's going to win by a blowout?
The Bills.
I got Bills as well. So we both got Bills against the Chiefs. Wow. So we got Pat Mahomes dropping 2 in a row, huh?
No, I think
they lost
if
against the Packers last week.
If he loses this week, I'm pretty sure that's going to be 3 in a row.
Oh, wow. Would it really?
Because
shit.
I'm pretty sure they lost to. Is it? Yeah, while we continue picking, I'll take a look at that.
Okay, well, next up, we got the Eagles at the Cowboys. I think this is going to be a fucking blowout. I think the Eagles are going to come out with energy that they didn't come out at the 49ers game with. I think the Cowboys think they're going to... I think the Cowboys watched last week's game with the 49ers and the Eagles, and they said, oh, wow, look what the 49ers did to them. Cowboys are not the 49ers. They're not. They're not even fucking close. I'm going to go ahead and say the Eagles win that game by double digits. I'm not going to give a score, but I got the Eagles winning that game.
Listen, I don't win anything if any of these team wins. Eagles win, I got we're still number 1 in the NFC. Cowboys win, it's our year. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to pick based off of the best outcome for the Niners. So I'm going to have to take the Cowboys on this one because I want that number 1 seed. I want it. We're going to get it.
I'll tell you what, if the Eagles don't get the number 1 seed this year, we're in big fucking trouble.
You guys are out the first week of playoffs anyways.
We have massive issues if we don't get that number 1 seed. I worry about our chances of even making it to an NFC championship
rather than
game.
being out in the wild card, you're just going to be out in the next week anyways. You just saved a week of being kicked out. That's all that matters for you guys.
All right, we're going to have Milton back on the playoff run for sure. So next up, we got the Packers at the Giants. I mean, that should be an easy one. Right? I'm going to go ahead and say Packers. Yep, you get the Packers too. Who's picking the fucking Giants? Nobody. Nobody's picking the Giants to win shit ever. And last game of the week, we got the Titans at the Dolphins. I'm going to go ahead and say Dolphins. Dave, eat your heart out. Both got the Dolphins there. All right, so we picked a lot of different picks here. So this could be a very interesting week, my friend. You know, I could very well take the lead on you.
Not going to happen.
We could come out tied, or, maybe you extend your lead on me after all these picks because we both picked a lot of different teams. All right, so that's going to be it for us this week. We went through all of our picks. We went through 49ers and the Eagles recap and that ass whooping. Our work league and fantasy, how Milton's already out. We're conspiring for him to drop all of his players, and maybe I'll pick some up on the free agency market. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Either way, make sure you guys tune in next week. Subscribe, comment down below. Do you guys disagree with us? Do you think I'm a jackass? Do you think Milton's out of line? What do you guys think? Comment down below.
I hope you guys enjoyed the shit talking this week. Last week was more of a testing the waters, but now that we're getting into this, there'll be definitely a lot more, and hope you guys enjoyed it.
All right, everyone. I hope you guys have a nice Sunday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games.